the Congress is now planning a one family, one ticket. Now, many are looking at this news with a great sense of irony, because the CWC, after emphasizing on the one man, one post principle, is now looking to impose a one family, one ticket principle. The big question, of course, is will this apply to the Gandhi family or not? Sources so far have indicated to NDTV that it won't. The CWC has, of course, been doing a series of deliberations on the revival of the parliamentary board to help in collective decision making. The Congress is going to be focusing on the issues of jobs, price rise, and of course, therefore going to consider taking up the space of a constructive opposition. Interestingly, there's also going to be a separate election wing that is going to be set up for managing elections. 50% of the party's posts for the leaders are under 50. So a whole host of proposals that are actually under consideration, and Sunil Prabhu, who has all of this information, is joining us live for more. Sunil, many things that you're reporting on at the moment, many deliberations, many proposals under consideration, the most interesting being the one family, one ticket, and what sources are indicating to you is that it's not going to apply to the Gandhis.
Well, as you rightly pointed out, it's ironical, but just to let our viewers know, these are just proposals that are coming for the brainstorming session, which will ultimately, of course, have to be endorsed by the Congress Working Committee, which will meet on the 15th once these group discussions take place. Having said that, this proposal is also not new. The one family, one ticket proposal was implemented, for example, in 2008 in Karnataka, when the party failed miserably and allowed at that time the BJP to make inroads and succeed and form a government there. So it's in that backdrop that there have been a lot of hits and misses, a lot of new proposals, old wine in new bottle, as some call it. But definitely for the Congress, it's a make or break ahead of the 2024 elections. If it has to be in the reckoning, it really, as it was pointed out yesterday by Mrs. Gandhi herself in the opening remarks, that they now owe a debt to the party for those who have worked. And it's in that backdrop that they would like to see some good suggestions which will become clearly a template, a roadmap for the party to resurrect itself. Not only to gear itself towards elections by having an election general secretary in charge and a coordination committee, but also youngsters to represent them across the length and breadth of the party structure if it has to take on the BJP in the coming elections in 2024.
Right. Sunil, a whole host of very interesting details that you're reporting on. And of course, the big questions that are going to be asked of the Congress party, and critics, of course, are going to take this up in a big way, is the big question around how the one family, one ticket plan doesn't apply to the Gandhis, whatever happened to leading by example. But the other very interesting point that you're actually reporting on is a separate election wing for the management of elections. This is going to be extremely interesting to see who's really made in charge of this separate election wing, because this is coming in at a time when the Congress perhaps very desperately needs some direction when it comes to managing election strategy.
That's right, and in fact that offer was in fact given to Prashant Kishore,
yes,
ahead of the Chintan Shivir, and that the rest is now history when he rejected the idea that he would be the convener of this empowered action group for the 2024 elections. So it's in that context that the party is serious about having a mechanism which will be able to take it forward, because we've had, for example, the General Secretary in charge of organization, Mr. K.C. Venugopal, part of the screening committee for 543 constituencies, which is humanly not possible for anybody to monitor. And really you need to have multiple people, multiple teams to be able to take and factor in these entire suggestions. Of course, unity of all political forces against the BJP, against the divisiveness and the divisive agenda that is going on, to continue to focus on price rise and unemployment are some of the other themes in the political resolution which will hopefully firm up and be endorsed and come out as an Udaipur declaration on the 15th of March after those group discussions. Sonia Gandhi, of course, on the 13th expected to give her opening remarks. Rahul Gandhi on the last day, on the 15th, after the CWC endorse will give his valedictory address.
All right. Thanks very much, Sunil, for joining us with all those updates.